What is it? What is this wind taking you?
I feel like in the conservation realm, I grew up in the zoos, I grew up in the pet stores, I grew up having, turtles in tanks and snakes in drawers and lizards in my bathroom, And a couple of years ago, I started traveling, and I finally see these animals I've kept so close to my bedroom and in these habitats, and I finally see them in the wild, and I'm like, I don't want them anymore. And it's a weird thing because I've been so obsessed with these creatures from, again, seeing them in the zoo, seeing them on TV, seeing them in books, having certain pets as, my personal favorite companions, to spend my time with. And then I start traveling and I start seeing the reality of what a wild is, a bird really flying, or a snake actually climbing a tree and basking, or a lizard swimming in deep water versus a little tub you can get from Home Depot. So it really just it started turning my soul upside down and I couldn't fight it. As much as I wanted to come home and love my animals, I wanted to take them and let them go in the wild where they belong. And that's where I feel the conservation thing is bringing me, as a man.
Life is definitely simple. We make it complicated. So my goal in life right now is to make sure that I share my wisdom to the next generation. Today on Better Humans, Better Planet, we welcome my brother and friend, Mike Halston, known on social media as the Real Tarzann. Mike is an animal lover who has made his life mission to change the world through animal-human connection. Known for his viral animal videos that have accumulated over millions of views and a social media following of over 7 million, Mike joined us today to tell us about his story from childhood and beyond. All right. Pray. I love it.
Love it.
Animal people, God people.
Always praying.
Always praying.
Always praying.
Talk a little bit about that.
Everything that I've ever thought of, I prayed about it. I get confused all the time. I pray about it. I'm not sure. I pray about it. I'm scared. I pray about it. I have a nightmare. I pray about it. I want something. I pray about it. I need something. I pray about it. I don't want something. I pray about it. Prayer, I feel, is it's like emails. You can run an email to people, but an email, get on your knees and pray. Send God an email and answer your prayers. And
Animals. What does animals mean to you?
Everything. Animals are my soul, my life, my light. They are. I feel like everybody's born for a purpose. And my purpose is to be born to serve animals. They saved my life in a sense, and I feel like I dedicate and owe my life to them for the rest of my life.
So you're going in the conservationist type of thing?
Yes.
Or where's your soul taking you? Because my soul took me to, I wanted to be a dog trainer, right? And then I come to America, and then it took me to train people, rehabilitate dogs. That's something that took me. You can't plan that.
Yep.
Right?
So it takes you adrift.
But one thing that I can definitely remember is how a feeling was taking me. It's like a wind. It was thinking, no, don't go to the dog training. That's what you heard, but that's not what you were meant for. Or that's not what God sent you here for. You know what I mean? So what is it? What is this wind taking you?
I feel like in the conservation realm, I grew up in the zoos, I grew up in the pet stores, I grew up having, turtles in tanks and snakes in drawers and lizards in my bathroom, And a couple of years ago, I started traveling, and I finally see these animals I've kept so close to my bedroom and in these habitats, and I finally see them in the wild, and I'm like, I don't want them anymore. And it's a weird thing because I've been so obsessed with these creatures from, again, seeing them in the zoo, seeing them on TV, seeing them in books, having certain pets as, my personal favorite companions, to spend my time with. And then I start traveling and I start seeing the reality of what a wild is, a bird really flying, or a snake actually climbing a tree and basking, or a lizard swimming in deep water versus a little tub you can get from Home Depot. So it really just it started turning my soul upside down and I couldn't fight it. As much as I wanted to come home and love my animals, I wanted to, take them and let them go in the wild where they belong. And that's where I feel the conservation thing is bringing me, as a man. I was young, in my 20s, hanging out with animals and taking selfies with chimpanzees and seeing different things in the
I
zoos.
never had a chimpanzee.
Yeah,
Is it good?
Yeah, they're like humans, man. Really smart, intelligent, very intimidating, but very interesting animals. You feel I felt a strong connection with apes than I have with any other animal besides a dog, and I love it because I can talk to them and they get it. It's like, hey, take my bracelet off, and he's like, takes the bracelet off. It's like, how's my toenail hurts? He's like looking at the actual toenail. It's like, wow. It's like, turn the water off. Turn the water off. Hey, that candle is hot. Hot. It's like, wow, it's so intelligent, and from an animal that never spoke English, they get it, so.
You think if you would have spoke Spanish, he would get it too?
For sure. Dogs, they sit, bang, here they come, of course a chimp can, absolutely.
Steve Irwin.
Man, Steve Irwin is
Australian guy.
Australian mastermind of the Outback. First person I actually seen and grasped that wasn't. I watched the old school Tarzan movies, the old school Mowgli movies in black and white. Well, my great grandma actually, and on different cartoons. And then I finally seen this guy, wrangling crocodiles and catching snakes and educating about them. And I just it went from something that was fake, I knew was not real, to something like, oh, I can be like that. I can do that. I can educate like that. I want to do what he's doing, and then constantly watching him and growing that bond just through the screen, the TV screen, it's just a kid and having a hero. And it was always focused on reptiles, herpetology, reptiles and amphibians, and I loved it. I loved every bit of it. When he passed, it crushed me,
And not even from what everybody thought.
Something so just freak in nature, I mean, I can't tell you how many humans have been on Earth, and maybe less than 10 people ever in human history have ever been killed by a stingray, You think about, and for him to go out like that it's odd, man. I hang out with stingrays all the time. I see other people hang out with stingrays, full wild ones, full barbs. It's a freak accident, man. For a guy to hang out with the most deadliest snakes on the planet that'll kill you in 30 minutes before the ambulance get there, or crocodiles rip your arm off in a second, or kill you and drown you. And he's around all these dangerous things, cassowaries, and he's just thriving in something.
Cassowaries.
Yeah. I can talk to you like this because, I'm very comfortable with you, so many years of talking. And I felt like he was meant to go like that, though, I don't know how nature works and universe works, or God works. They work in their own mysterious way, and if he had so much attention on him, so he had so much impact and so much influence, I feel God just took him away so it can birth 1,000 more Steve Irwins, male or female, people that felt the pain when he left, and they want to pick up that torch, including his kids, including other zoos. Or
how do you think they're doing?
I think they're doing great, man. Oh man, I mean, I can only imagine if he's, of course, he's looking down, and seeing his son and his daughter carry the torch and still continue his zoo legacy, and they talk like him, they walk like him, they're carrying the message. Not as wild as him. I don't think anybody ever would be as wild naturally, he had that in him.
He's unique.
He was a wild man, and it's really cool to see his kids pick up the legacy and keep that. I think he said something.
They have a zoo, right?
Yeah, they still have the Australia Zoo. I think his mom and dad or something like that had the zoo before even he had it. And then he changed the name. It was like I forget the name, but yeah, it was like Camp something. I think probably Camp. I think that's one of his dogs. And then they changed it to Australia Zoo. And then,
if you were the president of the world, what would you change right away?
I would get an army for animals and nature. The same way how we protect our borders and we protect our natural resources for trades and goods and, whatever the case may be from war. Why don't we have that same thing for animals and nature? Why don't we protect our oceans? And I know it sounds bad, but you got these gorillas and these chimps. Why you don't shoot first and ask questions later? Why let everything die? Why let these people destroy our oceans? When we need to breathe through the coral reefs, and why? Why do mass producing of endangered animals like skins and the fur trade? Why can't we protect them? Like, they need to be protected. You know, we protect Russia and we protect Ukraine and America. And
it's a lot of money,
you know,
right?
it takes billions of dollars we send to these people. And it's like, bro, we're scraping the earth to find pennies to protect rhinoceros and giraffes and certain species of sharks. And, you know, it's just pandas and everything's just wiping away before us. So if I was president of the world, I'd put an actual legitimate army out there to protect animals. I'm talking every zoo, every natural park, every private facility has to have some type of actual protection with a consequence, because people are taking and raping our animals and our earth, and they're getting a slap on the wrist compared to what someone selling, you know, a drug or killing a person or trafficking this, trafficking that. You know, I think animals are top 2 or top 3 most trafficked thing on the planet, you know, with a couple $1 billion a year. But these guys can make hundreds of thousands and get caught and do 10 months in prison and get out in 6 months with good behavior. It's like, that doesn't make sense. You know, they need to be handing down the same felonies and same 25, 30-year sentences. Maybe it'll really drop. You know, maybe poachers actually getting wiped out and the black market getting wiped out while they're bombing these different things. Go do something useful instead of, you know, war and killing. Go save something that doesn't have a voice. You know, doesn't have a say-so at the table. You can't say, hey, stop killing me. Hey, stop cutting my trees down. Hey, stop digging up all my soil to make rice, and then going to the next patch and doing the same thing and doing the same thing until we got nothing left. When are we going to stop? You know, when are we going to wake up as a species? And
do you see an awakening of people? Like,
I do. I have faith.
Your generation.
That's why, you know, the prayer comes in and talking to God, because outside these gates of my little peaceful island in here, it's chaotic out there, you know.
It's not little.
And if I look at all the
beautiful,
it's a beautiful world, though. It's a beautiful world.
Amazing.
And the traveling and seeing the different people that don't have technology, that don't have, you know, all this extra stress that us Americans carry, you know, and all this extra worry, you know, it gives me hope that one day we will turn it around. You know, something's going to happen where everybody wakes up and says, you know what? This is where we draw the line. Everybody's going to put their foot down one day. I may sound like a crazy individual thinking that way, but I really have hope and I got faith that we will.
Well, I'm part of the crazy army because, you know,
I'm putting it out there, you know.
Yes, the Dog Whisperer was a very important show, right? But it makes people believe that person has like magic or is whatever, you know. And I say everybody can be a dog whisperer, everybody. But one thing that we can do right now is to become a better human, right? So that's why I said, well, we got to do something where the focus is making people become better human for the better planet. And you are part of that army because you're already doing it, and your way of the way you're thinking, conservationist. When I was your age, I never thought about conservationist. I didn't even know that thing existed. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? The only thing I saw was a whole bunch of humans who were confused, right? And they were, and you can see the confusion in dogs,
yeah,
right? And then they start blaming things they love, which is, I love dogs, but not this breed. Mm-hmm. I love dogs, but I'm afraid of this breed. Mm-hmm. You know, and says, no, love is just all of them.
Universal.
You know what I mean? And so for me, it became very clear that my mission in life was to educate human about energy, about philosophy and actions, and they can practice that with a dog immediately, mm-hmm. right? And that will automatically make you a better human, and your dog will become better. And that's what the TV show is called, Better Human, Better Dog. But the big mission is Better Human, Better Planet. And I'm really inspired and motivated about bringing people to the podcast or whatever I do, so we can push that energy or that philosophy in that direction. Because it's true, we have to reconnect back to Mother Nature. We have to become more natural, simple, profound, and we have to regain trust, respect, love. You know, we have to honor, respect, be grateful, admire, and love nature. Like whatever we want, we have to do it first. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Otherwise, it's just one-sided, which we've been doing it all our lives. Mm-hmm. That's why we're here. You know, I always like to remind people, we're the only species that follow unstable leaders. That's why I say, what would you do? What would you do if you're the president of the world? You know, a person with a good soul, a good instinct, good heart, and a mind to do something good. That's exactly what they would do. Protection, direction. That's what a good leader does, right? Before affection. Because once you give direction protection, the animal is going to feel safe, peace. Now he can enjoy love. You see what I mean?
100%.
And it is that simple. So I want people to know that it's that simple. It's just a matter of a human wanting to live in the moment and say, I can't do this anymore. Right? Because if you're bleeding, you want to stop it right away. So we've been bleeding for a long time. We've been hurting the earth for a long time. Animals for a long, blaming them for a long time. Sharks have the worst reputation. You know, sharks that are not coming out of the water to hurt you. You went to where he lives. You know what I mean? That's just logic.
You're in his home.
Yeah, that's just logic. You know what I mean? But to blame Mother Nature and then to say that we love them, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just doesn't make any sense. So it's very important for me that we unite, the animal people, the God people, to just bring back the simple, natural, simple, profound. I call it that way: natural, simple, profound knowledge to the world, because the world is so focused and making money, fame, and power. You watch TikTok and you see Instagram, you're gonna have a whole bunch of guys as entrepreneur. This is how the 1%.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And since the young generation hears that, and that's what they focus.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with money, fame, and power. Go for it. America is the right place. If you live here. But natural, simple, profound is happiness, and you're gonna want to go back at one point. So just start from now. You know what I mean? Don't never let it go, right? Because at one point people say, I'm God, and then you go to where say you think you were gonna be successful, what people call success, and then they end up feeling alone, and then they call God again. Listen,
Cycle.
Right? It's just listen. Don't let it go. So when you go, you're good.
Good.
You're good. The beginning, middle, and end. Life, birth, life, and death. Just learn to experience that. So you stay connected, communication, relationship. And that what allows you to have the clear understanding. You will see life beautiful, structured, clear. That's it. That's to me a success.
Yep.
Because every single day, if you do that, and then if you do that around animals, they will experience that energy. And that's all they know. They just don't know that you, human, can do that. But once they know that you are very consistent with your repetitions, and then snakes, lizards, would you allow me to carry them, to touch for the first time in my life? The zebra, the camel, the ostrich, we practice the same energy.
It's universal.
It's universal.
And that's what I love about what you do, man. You just bring everything home. Everybody can relate to the cats and dogs, but when you started integrating the llamas and the ducks and the goats, and it's like, wow, the birds, it's like, that's it. Yeah. That's the universal language he speaks, Yeah. And you just showed it out here, I tell people all the time, like, I don't know this snake, or I don't know this thing. I just met him today for the first time. He's hanging out. Yeah. It shows you what they're thinking and what they're about. Yeah. You showed today, you hang out with the ostriches and the camels and the zebras, and it's like them your whole life.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's true, because your spirit, your instinct, and your heart was here before you. The only thing that's new is your name and this new body. But this ancient knowledge is already in you. Right? So that's it. You don't have to invent this. You just have to connect and like you said, communicate with God.
Yep.
So you can have a relationship. But you're born connected. You just have to stay in communication.
Yep, stay connected.
That's it. It's not up to him. It's up to you. He's already giving you life. It's your return, right? It's a give and take. So it's the most beautiful relationship is when this happens.
Yep.
That's when it happens. When one is given, it just feels bad. I have a really bad relationship where I just give.
Yep.
But never with animals. Ever.
Just give
I never
all
met
day.
a dishonest animal, lack of integrity animal, like a loyalty animal.
Never.
And I said, well, the dog bit you. Yeah, the dog bit me because it was in the wrong household with the wrong family and doing the wrong actions.
That's our fault.
Yeah, and when I say wrong family, it's not that they're bad. I'm just saying they had the wrong philosophy. You know what I mean?
Wrong game plan.
Yeah, I see a lot of parents who raise humans. They love them, but they had the wrong philosophy. You know what I mean? Those kids are doing fight, flight, avoidance. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, those parents love their kids, but they have the wrong philosophy.
Yep.
You see, it's the wrong energy, wrong philosophy, wrong actions. So you like to call me sensei.
Yes.
Right? I appreciate that. And my kids call me a Jedi master.
Yeah.
And the whole point of that is my goal is to share the knowledge that was given to me, right? So you can practice it right away, just right away. It's you don't have to learn how to write or read, and you don't have to know numbers to do what I do, to do what you do with animals. You don't have to be super smart.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to be a very honorable human, a respectful human, a gratitude human, a human that admires everything and loves everything. That's all is required. That's it.
Amen.
Right? That's all it is required.
That's it.
So better human, better planet is absolutely faster to achieve than money, fame, and power, because you can do it right now.
Right now.
You know, and if you say how, well, do you have an animal? No. Okay, go get an animal. Don't adopt them. Don't purchase anything. Just be with them, and you'll see your trust, respect, love. You'll see it. That's it. That's all it takes. You don't even have to own them.
It's the magic.
You just have to be around them,
Mm-hmm.
and then that will make you want to be more and more around them. We were talking earlier, and you travel. You know, it's a blessing. You know, to be able to explore the world. Not everybody gets to have that chance. And after 20 days, you're right, and the world amazing. You get new things, language, food, music, everything. Later, you miss your pack.
Yes.
Right, you miss
every time.
You miss what you have created, that grounds you, that connects you. You know, I just keep it super simple. It just brings you back home.
Yeah,
that's home. That's family. That's the land, the family, and that's what life is all about. I love the win. This is a very typical win. Yeah. Good. Now, bucket list. Which I never been in Africa. Never.
Wow.
Galapagos. Never.
Wow.
Borneo. Never. Tell me a little bit about that.
Perfect three. We'll start with Borneo. Mm-hmm. You have to go. Dr. Gallicus, Barut Gallicus, she went to school with Jane Goodall and Diane Fossey. Diane Fossey did gorillas. Mm-hmm. Jane Goodall did chimpanzees, and she did orangutans.
All women?
Yep. 52 years in the field in Borneo. Non-stop.
Just watching.
Every day. Watching, observing, rehab. From leeches to orangutans I think she has 200 orangutans in the orphanage right now. And she releases them in the wild, and she knows every single one by first name. She has books stacked to the ceiling on when they poop, when they eat, when they're born, how old the baby is, how old the dad is, the last time they've seen them. Just constant updates every day on all of them. Beautiful. She wrote a book, I think it's called Garden of Eden. Borneo is a Garden of Eden. That's how just luscious and green it is. There's so much animals there. One of the few places I felt just I can stay here for forever. I didn't have that 20-day. Yeah, I stayed there actually 31 days, and I went home and I'm like, man, I could live there. I really get that feeling. I got it in Africa. I got it in Galapagos. And it's funny you say them, and in Amazon. I don't catch it in much places. 25 places I've been. Galapagos. Now go to Galapagos. I think it's the number one successful conservation effort of all time.
Oh, wow.
So you get to see Charles Darwin wrote his theory on him traveling across the whole world to get to the spot that he read about, where there were lands of giant tortoises the size of rocks, or iguanas that look like the galaxy and the stars at night, that live underwater, that eat seaweed, or blue-footed boobies, or penguins. There's sea lions. There's all types of stuff over there. And they're not scared of humans. You see, they come up to you. I saw a big Galapagos hawk just right where your phone's at, looking at me. He can fly anywhere he wants to go. Hey, how you doing? They're looking you up and down. You get close, you turn your back. He stays there 10, 15 minutes. He's like, all right, I'm gonna leave. Flies off in the distance. It's like, what is this place? Tortoises stopping traffic. I mean, you drive around on this, going up these volcanoes, and you ever see the fake Dr. Seuss trees?
Yeah.
They look like all curly and fuzzy. Yeah. That's how it looks. Everything's moss and fuzzy, and man, everything you touch is just soft. The sand just doesn't look like regular sand.
So nobody touches it.
Nothing. It's just pristine. The biggest problem they have there is feral cats and feral dogs. Oh. That's That's
what
it.
happened to them?
They just eat the eggs of animals, or pigs tear up the landscape and eat whatever animals are nesting. They dig the eggs up and eat them. So it messes up that that
And
bio.
who put in there?
The settlers came, many years ago. The locals keep their personal dogs outside, and then they get out and go breed with something else, or their cats run around. So it's just normal. No one's allowed. There's no cars there. There's only taxis. You can't drive. Can't smash the wildlife.
What about food?
They ride their bikes and they taxi here and there, but it's really, really small community, because you have Ecuador that's in South America, but Galapagos is a little island off of there, so it's tiny. So many small, tiny islands. Even some islands, they kicked off all locals and just animals. There's nobody there. We went to Hispaniola Island. Oh man, you gotta go.
What about it?
Oh man, it's like this small. It's only one spot you can dock at. Everything else is inhabitable by boat all the way around. But we swim around the whole edge of the reef. We're seeing hammerhead sharks. We're seeing hundreds of thousands of iguanas, sea turtles mating. There's seal pups swimming, and oh man, it's just.
You scuba dive?
Oh yeah, scuba dive, snorkel, free dive, everything. This underwater is a whole nother world.
Skydive?
Yeah, I have 21 skydives from Lake Elsinore down the street.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, nonstop, just 2 weeks straight going skydiving.
Oh, you can do it by yourself?
They have my license now.
Get out of here!
Yeah.
Wow.
I did it pre-pandemic, 2019.
What do you get out of it?
It's whole another adrenaline rush. It's like catching a mean hot cobra that's 15 foot that can bite you any second. When you go up, you get so many emotions from skydiving. And the night before, you're like looking up skydiving fails, and you're like, oh my God, this is gonna happen to me. And a whole ride to the place, you're like, I don't want to do this. This is terrible, but you don't want to chicken out.
You don't want to
When
quit.
you finally get there, you sign a waiver, and they go over the stuff, and palms are sweaty. You got little cold flashes. And then you get in that plane and they strap you to our instructor, and you guys sit and you're going up and you're like, oh my God, this is actually happening. You got the butterflies now, and you're thinking you're going to get the butterflies from when you jump out the plane, so everything, your whole nervous system just dumping. You're just dumping adrenaline, you're dumping dopamine, you're dumping whatever, and when that plane gets to a certain altitude and they cut the engine off and you just go afloat. You're just chilling up there high, maybe a couple, I think it's 12,000
Why would they
feet.
shut it off?
Well, if you jump out, you don't want the.
Oh,
so you just go buoyant, So when you jump, you just fall straight off, versus the plane moving,
Right.
So they open that door and you look down, and you're like, oh my gosh, and you jump and you're waiting for that feeling, but you're so high, your brain doesn't register how high you are because you can't see the ground. So then it doesn't hit that stomach butterfly. So now you're like, and you're confused now because for the last 24 hours you're thinking about that full minute of that roller coaster gut feeling, but you don't have it. And and the faster you figure out you're not going to have that feeling that you're looking for, you're like, oh my God, this is amazing. You feel like a bird. You feel like you're flying, and that's what the one thing I felt closest to being a bird. After I did my strapped on jumps, I was jumping out with them holding me. So they would hold on to my shirt, my parachute shirt. I had a whole suit on.
Teach you how to walk.
And they teach me how to walk and crawl. And then they let me go to turn around and move your hand. So the slightest thing like this can turn you full 360. If you go like this, or you spin around in a circle, you put your hands by your side, you start flying like a bird, like a jet. It's so many cool things,
Have you been able to master that part?
I wouldn't say master it, but definitely feel after my fifth jump, I'm front flipping out of the plane, I'm barrel rolling and pulling my own
you're
chute.
Gymnastic too. You're gymnastics.
And I like the adrenaline rush,
Yeah, me too.
Makes you really tired because it just overstimulates you.
Yeah. What about Africa?
Ooh, man, the motherland. First place I went to across the pond. I went to South America, Central America first, Hawaii, and then when I went to Africa, I was so excited to go because I'd never been. Always watching Lion King and thinking about gorillas and the tribes and just being a black man in America, thinking about my heritage and my my ancestors. I'm like, man, I really get to go put my feet in the soil and really hear some drums and feel some drums. I've been back 6 times in most country I visited at any continent, anywhere in the world, and I remember working 6 days straight before I got on the plane in New York and JFK. And I fell asleep and I woke up in Johannesburg. I slept 14 hours straight, didn't move an inch, so beat and tired. But it's like I teleported over there. So I landed in the motherland, and we get in this car and we're driving to our hotel in Hemingway's down in Kenya. And it was the first time in my life I've been to a place where I'm looking around and I felt like I was homesick. It's the weirdest feeling ever. Like I go to my hometown in New England and I can ride around my street like, oh, that's where I went to school at, or that's where I used to play basketball. And I'm riding down these streets and it's almost like I've been here before, but I've never been here. And I never got that feeling anywhere else ever in my life. And it was the weirdest thing because it was like I was having deja vu, but I wasn't, and to think of being in a place for the first time in my life where I'm not the minority, as you can relate. When you go to Mexico, you're like, the cabrons, So it's like hermanos. And when I go to Africa, it's like, wow, look, all my brothers and sisters. Like, are these my cousins? Like, I'm not saying I don't see white people, but it's like I don't see any white people, no Spanish people, no. It's just everybody's black everywhere. It's like, oh my God, this is like a ongoing cookout, an ongoing family reunion, and to go down the streets and get stuck in traffic out the airport. And, I see everything. So I'm seeing monkeys, vervet monkeys jump through the trees. And I'm like, this is where I'm supposed to be from. This is home, huh? And I'm driving more down the street and I see Cape Buffalo walking and then giraffes off the highway. And I'm like, it's like a squirrel, it's like, wow, this is just real. It's not Lion King. It's not, and it's, from a young black kid's perspective, I got a lot of family members that are real deep in my heritage, especially from my hometown. So just imagine 24 years, 25 years of just watching TV, hearing your people talk about the motherland, never visiting it, not really knowing where you're from.
So you're the first one?
Yeah, first one ever in my lineage to go back. We've been to Cape Verde, which is where we were last originated from, which is like a small island off next to Senegal. It's like Portuguese and black and still Africa, but when I went in, my first spot was with the Maasai nomads, and
you got pictures with them?
Yeah, pictures, video. I'll show you some later. Oh man, and they're naturalists, so they're outside their whole life, though, for thousands and thousands of years. They're just with the earth. They know every plant and every ant and every this and every that. It's like, wow.
What's their body?
They're slim, but the first one I saw. We went to the lodge, the touristic lodge before we went actually to the hut. And the first guy I saw was 6'8". He shook my hand and I'm like, oh my God, this guy is massive. Maasai had the thin braids and the long, and he had his Maasai kilt on. He had a spear. He had his sandals were made out of tires. And I never forget, he shook my hand and it was like his hand grabbed me, but it was like he was shaking my hand, but his fingers were up here. And I was like, bro, that's him. And I was like, what's going on? It's like, this guy never touched a weight, never seen a protein shake, never just straight raw genetics, and then when we finally went to the tribes, where they actually lived out in the wild, we're driving on dirt road for 2.5 hours. It's just bumps and bumps and you can't see nothing. And then we finally get to their village and you're like, oh my, they literally live out here, outside for forever. They don't go inside. They don't have AC. They don't have electricity. They don't have a cell phone. It's like, they don't even know what a TV is, And it's like, wow. And some of them are just ripped, jacked, big buff dudes. And some of the women are short. Some of the women you can see that they got muscles. Some of the kids are holding other kids, like I said, they were herding 400, 500 sheep and some cows. It's like, it's a whole nother level of life,
That's natural, simple, and profound, baby.
Oh man,
that's what I'm saying.
And you see, and then they bring us to the elderly part, and it's like, I think the oldest was 97 at the time, and she's there, making her beads, and she's like the matriarch of the whole tribe, and she's like, selling beads and the touristic stuff, to help make a couple extra bucks. But it's cool to see her daughter there, and then her daughter's daughter there, and then her aunt, and then it goes all the way around the circle of elders, and you go around and you shake everybody's hand, and you give them love, and you bow to them. It's respect.
That's right.
And it's just like, what is this place? It's Africa.
I'm living as you're speaking it.
Man, it's unlike anything I've ever experienced. And then you leave the Maasai tribe and you go to a place like Giraffe Manor. They've been around for, I don't know, they're early in 1900s, maybe late 1890 or something like that. And they usually see these old school photos on their walls of it was a white family that founded it first, but all the caretakers of all the animals are just local blacks, local Africans. And you see them, they got photos of them riding hippos. They got rhinoceros in the back of small pickup trucks transporting them into their different spots. And they got 16 baby giraffes all on a bottle. And it's like, you're looking at these photos and like, man, what was life like back then? Where like, I would just love to sit down and talk and ask them,
I just wanna watch.
Man, and then seeing what it is today where they have their, the couple of houses and they charge X amount of bucks a night, but it all goes back to giraffe conservation. And you see the Rothschild giraffes and all the other different types of reticulated giraffes and how healthy they are and how their breeding programs are. And it's just so cool, man, to see a conservation effort through tourism, they got Warhog coming up, first time seeing a Warhog from Lion King, Timon and Pumbaa. It's like, seeing a whole family of meerkats run by and mongooses, you're like, wow, there's so much, everywhere you turn, there's so much life. The air's fresh, you go to Giraffe Manor, it's just beautiful. It looks like something like this, but it's just far, far out. And then you go up to Uganda. I went to Uganda to trek for gorillas. I went there 2020 in December, and nobody during COVID. I flew to Uganda. The most lush, I thought I died. We walked to the jungle, and it's green everywhere. I can't see anything. Can't see the sky. It's just green everywhere. Little, I love plants, so it's like there's all these kudzu plants that's covering the tree roots, and then the branches come down, and the branches have different leaves, and then there's trees growing on the tree at the top of the tree, and you're just like these thick vines. You see, we think we see vines from growing on our house and stuff, but when you see vines that are like this thick, you're like, how old is that vine? How long has that vine been? When did this vine start? And it's just, it goes for here to like that mountain. That's how long the vines are. It doesn't even seem real, and it's like, what is this place? And then you keep walking and a gorilla pops out. And you're like, oh my God, there is a gorilla, a mountain gorilla like 6 feet away. And the guy comes up and he pulls the leaves back, and it's like 3 babies on his back. And it's like, you got this big adult male gorilla just sitting down, just pop his head, look at you, and think, oh, whatever. He's got babies hanging on him. You look over, there's a mom, breastfeeding her little baby gorilla, and he's beating his chest and learning how to eat, it's just insane to think about that these animals are just sitting right here on the mountain.
And it's already in your head, that picture.
I've been there a million times in my head, and I never expected it to be what it was in physical. I couldn't.
No, I can't.
You can think about it all day.
I'm trying.
It's never what you can think of, man. And I think that's one thing that keeps me attracted to traveling, because I think I know what I'm going to get myself into, and I get there, and I just have the slide. I'm just a slap in the face.
Where do you get the real Tarzann? How do you come out with that?
It was actually a nickname. My actual nickname was just Mowgli Mike growing up.
Okay.
And when I was in high school, I had these long dreadlocks. I always had animals. So it was like, Michael, Mowgli Mike, the guy with the animals.
Right,
the guy with the crazy animal dude. So I was always a geek, a little fat kid eating pizza, fishing all day. I was not.
You were chubby when you were a kid?
Oh yeah, bro. Well, way over the popcorn and pee-wee football limit of all that stuff, I was always on a diet. I always eating. I stayed in the house and read books and watched, TV all day with animals. And
that helps.
I just went outside fishing and looked for worms and snakes and garter snakes. And
Jesus.
Saw blue jays for the first time, and I'm outside looking for blue jays and cardinals and, But one day I was working at a pet store in Petland in Georgia, and I had these dreadlocks. I came back from college, and everybody gave out name tags, and I was like, oh, they gave me Tarzann, and they spelled it wrong. It was 2 N's, but they also gave up my actual name tag, just said Michael, and everybody called me Tarzann. So I just kept it, as my little nameplate at my job. So everybody that came up, they just asked for Tarzann. The black guy in the back with all the animals with dreadlocks. Dreadlocks like Tarzann. Go ask him questions about your guinea pig or your fish or your bird.
Wow.
And when I got on Instagram, my original Instagram name was Ink Me Up, like tattoo ink. And I was like, I don't like that. And I just like changed it to the Real Tarzann. And I had that account when I had 300 followers, just never was intended to have. I didn't even post animal content. I posted my dog a couple times, and like some personal pets and like family photos. And I didn't use the app for like 3 years. And then one day I was like, I got to get back on social media and be more social, because I go in my turtle shell, my little hermit crab shell, stay with the animals. I go fishing. My phone will break. I won't get a new phone for months. And everybody's like, "Are you alive?" I'm like, "Yeah, I moved to Florida," And then out of nowhere, just the Real Tarzann stuck on Instagram, and content rolled and rolled and rolled, and then it wildfired. And it went from 3,000 followers to 5 million followers in a year.
In a year?
In a year. I was growing 100,000 followers a day at some points. Just all organic. Will Smith reposts me. P. Diddy.
That's just
he's
right.
on Jimmy Kimmel. It just spiraled out of control.
That's how I met you, through Will.
Yeah.
And then you went to see Puff.
Yeah,
right?
Next door.
Yeah.
And we see the flamingos next door too. Yeah. And yeah, man, it just took off. And never in a million years would I would think I would be in this position on a social platform, or being on TV, or having enough money to feed my dog, or feed multiple goats, or have enough rats to feed my snake. It's just, I never thought in a million years I'd be able to provide that for myself. Even though God, of course, blessed me with what I prayed for and asked for, I never thought I'd actually have it, and I worked towards it. Like you said earlier, you earned it. I had a thing in my head, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to earn it. And whatever job I had with animals, I earned it. I came in early, I stayed late. That glass was spotless. Every product in that row was in line. Every SKU was matched up directly towards that. Every tank, every bowl, every poop, every corner. I didn't cut a corner. Every rat got the same delegation as a baby husky dog. Or a black-headed kike, or I raised hyacinth macaws, one of my first birds I raised, at the pet store, rose-breasted cockatoos. I'm learning all these things, and it's just addicting. It's curiosity.
That's a good addiction.
Better.
Help somebody.
Yeah, and it gave me so much joy. Still to this day, like I said, one day I don't know if I'm ever going to wake up and it doesn't give me all that stimulation, but ever since I can't even remember, it never went away.
Right.
I don't see it going away. I'm learning camels, I'm learning zebras. I've seen them in the wild, seen them at other zoos, but now these are my babies.
Yep.
So it's my duty to make sure they live their full lifespan. How old's your oldest dog?
How old? My oldest dog right now? 10.
10.
Yeah.
What's the oldest dog you ever had?
Coco. 22.
22 years. That is got to be close to a record.
Yes.
That's what I
was a Chihuahua.
That's what I want to provide for all species.
Right.
The
long living. What do you call it?
Longevity.
Longevity. Yeah. What's the worst time for you on 30 years that you have gone through something really bad?
With animals or just in life?
Just
in general?
life.
Losing my father, for sure. I was 14, me and my dad were really close. Close to my family. He's the glue of my family, the head honcho, the boss, Also the lover of all of us.
Thank you for saying that.
Together,
We don't get the credit enough.
Yeah.
Boss, I'm pushing the that we rule too.
Superhero, man.
Yeah.
There's nothing like my dad, man.
Yeah,
my dad was actually Tarzan. We watched Animal Planet. He's actually a basketball player. He's big, 6'4", Jack Black dude. Pictures, living in this neighborhood, popping wheelies in poverty. There's gangs and drugs in the streets, but a real family man. And when him and my mom had me 16 and 17, I grew up with them. So I lost my dad died and he was 32. So 2 years away from what I'll be is like, imagine me being dead in 2 years. And nuts to think about it as a kid, but imagine me having a 12-year-old son right now. That's what I was to him, So we spent so much time together. We talked every day. Glad. Even when I moved, he'd come visit me all the time. Never missed graduation, never missed a birthday, Good
man.
You don't get dads like that these days where they go to your school and say, how's my son doing? How's his grades? And, and talk to the teacher afterwards and then bring me home and say, hey, the teacher said you're shy with reading. So now you're going to get this book and you're going to read in front of me, stand up and read because now you're nervous to read in class, but he coached me and teach me. He's like, he's got good money growing up. And he's like, I'm not going to give you shit. You're going to go out there and cut that grass, and you're going to go help your uncle with this, or go do that, or help your grandma wash this. And I pay you for working, but no one's going to give you anything. Go, you want a dog? Clean the poop, go walk them, wash your dog, So taught me a lot of responsibility, a lot of things, And he got shot because he was living in a situation of an environment he couldn't get out of. It's just like a hood mentality, even though he's very sharp and smart.
Yeah.
Had so many businesses. It's
Good
just,
heart too.
Yeah. Had a bunch of kids, and first person I've seen in a long time keep the whole, all the baby mamas together with all the kids, So me and my brothers, and my sisters, they keep me going, man. If the worst thing happened to me was losing my dad, the best thing happened to me was having siblings. That's one thing I love more than animals, is being a brother,
Yeah.
It just gives me
Family.
It gives me a sense of purpose.
Yeah.
It gives me a sense of doing the right thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't make me selfish. Even though at times as a man, my ego gets the best of me and I want to be selfish. I want to do what makes Mike happy. I want to go with my flesh, but my spirit is with my family, it's my pack.
Men of honor, baby.
Yeah.
Men of honor.
And all the things he taught me, I want to teach them. But I want to teach them the way he taught me or better.
That's right.
And
Or maintain or make it better.
yeah.
That's what I tell my boys.
Yep.
Your mind is for two things: to create or destroy. I've done it really well, and your job is to maintain what I created or to make it better.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's all we want.
Yeah, man.
You see, we want to give you a better life, no doubt about it. We have our mistakes, but one thing we know for sure is we want you to maintain what we are giving and make it better.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's pretty much, and then pay it forward.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Share it, give it to somebody else. That's a way to be a conservationist to the energy and the philosophy and to the family. Yeah?
Exactly.
Don't forget, it's just not just the animals, also the family, the neighborhood. Where you're living. America has done extremely well for me. So in return, I'm doing this for America. Connecting the people in America, and of course, America is a platform, so it gives you the whole entire world.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a big responsibility. What's biggest success
Biggest success.
that you call a success? Being here is a success, but
Traveling. I feel like being able to be put in a different part of the earth gives me a different perspective of humanity. Gives me different appreciation of home, of people, of interactions. Because out there it's not the same as here.
Mhm.
Our homeless people live like kings compared to the average person outside of this country.
Exactly.
And it's hard for people to understand that. They've only been here. Once you go out there and see what life's really like, I feel like my biggest thing ever was traveling.
Wow.
I feel real proud of myself. Instead of buying this or buying that, it's like I bought a plane ticket, and I went out to go explore. I was scared to leave for a week. I go for 6 days and 5 days and 7 days, and then I went to 10 days, and now I'm at 20 and 30 days leaving, and to really sit in another territory for 30 days and have no cell phone ringing and no whatever you're used to here.
What about food? What do you eat over there?
Everything.
Whatever they have.
Oh man, besides dog.
That's right.
I've tried just about everything that's been offered, from worms to grubs to someone fed me giraffe meat before. I'm here to learn. Teach me why. Oh, it's roadkill. Okay, I understand. Blah 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 blah. Different beef, duck eggs. Seaweed. I hung out in Fiji and ate raw fish. I never eat sushi. I don't like sushi in America, but I went to Fiji with my best friend, and we hung out with these Fijians, the Tuvaluan people, and all they did was fish. They went out and took us at night, and we caught our own fish. They cut it up and said, "Eat it. It's all you're gonna eat. We don't have a grocery store. We don't have ice. We don't have a refrigerator."
You put a little lemon on it?
They put like lemon.
Yeah,
we
ceviche,
drank
baby.
kava at night.
Oh.
It was a great time, man. I spent 8 days there.
Huh? Yeah.
I have a question for you too.
Okay.
After your
Well, I
last
think
question.
No, go for it.
Looking at me, you know me. I've talked to you for some years now.
Yeah.
You're my sensei. what advice could you give me as a young man growing up in this world?
That's exactly the same question I wanted for both of us to share. We're in the same path, right? Obviously, time does bring wisdom, right? But you're in the same path. You're going to be in the same place I am. That's exactly what I wanted to ask. What can this new generation focus on? Because they're got to focus on something, right? So from your perspective, since you know this young generation more like Instagram generation, the TikTok generation, you know, the YouTube generation. I'm new to it. I'm a radio guy. Mm-hmm. You know, I wanted to have a radio show when I told Jada. I wanted to have a TV show, not because I wanted to be famous. I just wanted help. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So you know what you have learned can help people. What can new generation focus as well?
Discipline.
Okay.
I feel a lot of people in my generation don't understand the difference between motivation and discipline. Some people may be motivated to do a few things here and there, but if you apply discipline in your life to become a better person, mm-hmm. a better person in whatever work field if you're an artist or a musician mm-hmm. or you're a dog trainer or you're
mm-hmm.
you know, a chiropractor,
car wash,
car wash, or restaurant, cook, chef, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
If you really apply discipline every day and try to be a better person every day, the world actually might change and become a better place.
Yeah.
You know, and we can spread that message through this time of social media, mm-hmm. this time of youth. You know, me and you can connect and connecting mm-hmm. with a 80-year-old woman in Indonesia or, mm-hmm. you know, 12-year-old kid in LA. You know, mm-hmm. we all have that connection now, but
that's the advantage
now is learning the discipline to become an actual better person. I'm just going to be 30 and I'm just now figuring out that I don't know anything. You know, I'm just now learning all my dumb mistakes weren't mistakes. They were just me trying to learn.
That's right.
You know, and it's a good thing to know that there's so much more to go.
Mm-hmm.
It keeps me going.
Yeah.
What can you pass down to us? Can you tell us?
Well, I would love for us parents, you know, from the beginning, because I believe that from birth to 10 years, that's when you build the human, right? And so if we just learn, because my nephew Ponchin is about to be 3, and he knows how to flip the phone, right? I told my sister, listen, if my nephew knows more about phones than animals, I'm gonna go after you.
I feel you.
You know what I mean? And so for me, is for us when we're a kid to retain what we already have. We don't have to go buy it somewhere. It's already here. Mm-hmm. You see it? Your spirituality is already here. And what's the spirituality? Honor, respect, honesty, integrity, loyalty, happiness, live in the moment. That's our spirituality. And then instincts. Stay away from fight-flight avoidance unless you need it. You know, master, calm, surrender, happy-go-lucky, calm, confident. Work for food and water, responsibility. Food, water, help the family. And eventually, you know, you mate, right? And then love is for 2 things. You love something conditional or unconditional, right? And mine is to create or destroy. Once you know that you are 4 worlds, please master them before you focus on money, fame, and powers or video games or anything else. Then you're going to feel successful at an early age, you know? So when you're 30 and then you realize that simplicity. When I'm 53, then I realize that's we're not going to go through it because we're going to live in a preventative state versus intervention state. Of course, people like you and I, we're going to see it as that's what I need to do to learn. Yeah, we have to surrender. That's the best thing to do is to come surrender. That's it. Don't get into a victimism because then you're going to go into a flight avoidance inside of you. Mm-hmm. And that's the worst because now you're going to use your mind to destroy. You see, so master something that's already there. Mm. And the parents have to nurture that. And the female and the male energy, they have to learn to work together. The masculine, let him be a masculine, right? The feminine, let him be the feminine, right? And then let the kids grow up in that beauty. And before we finish, what I have learned, which I didn't used to call it that way, is that all humans have 2 energies, masculine and feminine, right? So we just have to make sure that we males teach other males what a masculine energy look like, right? And females have to learn to do that, and of course, females have to learn to tap into our feminine side, which is love, joy. There's nothing feminine about it. It's just an energy called it's two energies called feminine energy. You see what I'm saying? It's attached. Love, joy is attached to feminine energy. Confidence attached to masculine energy. That's why when you see a woman that is in the masculine, it looks confident.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it's already there. So the happiness is already there. Life is a matter of health. So if you're healthy, and then be grateful about it, right? And then just learn to love things, your home, your what you do for a living, who you are, and who you live with. Those are perfect 4 things that you know that you're practicing love. That's it. Your home should feel beautiful, structured, clean, even if you're poor. Poverty, beautiful, structured, clean doesn't mean you're rich. Beautiful, structured, clean doesn't mean you're disciplined.
Wow.
That's it. That's it.
Boom.
Right?
Boom.
Boom.
Wow, man.
All right. That's
That was
it.
great. That's a bucket list.
Yes. We've been trying to get together for a long time.
Man. It happened
But
the
God
right
knows
time
when.
though.
God knows when, yeah.
Right time, man.
Yeah. That's the thing. Better human, better planet is about telling everybody, listen, the fact that God lets you live here, you're a chosen one. We're in heaven.
I love you, man. I'm so excited.
Hey, yeah, let's go. Show me your place.
Doesn't matter. If you really apply discipline every day to try to be a better person every day, the world actually might change and become a better place.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be 30 and I'm just not figuring out that I don't know anything. You know, I'm just now learning all my dumb mistakes weren't mistakes. They were just me trying to learn.
That's right.
You know, and yeah, it's a good thing to know that there's so much more to go.
Mm-hmm.
It keeps me going.
Yeah. My boy did it!